Once upon a time, in a village, there lived a greedy and mean old rich man. He hated sharing and didn't even like people resting under the big tree's shade in front of his house. "Get out of here right now. This is my land," he would shout at the villagers and drive them away. One day, a young man was resting under the tree. The rich man yelled again, "Who said you could rest under the shade of my tree?" The young man smiled and said, "If that shade is so precious to you, why don't you sell it to me?" The rich man scoffed, "HMPH, 5 Nayang and it's yours." So the young man emptied his pockets and bought the shade. A few days later, the young man finished work early and took a nap under the tree. As the sun set, the tree's shade stretched over the rich man's yard and even reached his porch. The young man quietly walked in and lay down on the porch. The rich man was furious. "You rascal, why are you lying in my house? Get out." The young man calmly replied, "I bought the shade, didn't I? Since it's shining here, I'm just using what's mine." The rich man was angry, but he had nothing to say. He had sold it himself. From then on, the young man rested wherever the shade reached. Eventually, the rich man couldn't take it anymore and offered 10 Nayang to buy the shade back. But the young man said with a grin, "If you give me 5,000 Nayang, maybe I'll consider it." A few days later, the rich man threw a big party in his guest house. But the tree's shade stretched into the party area again. The young man brought his friends and barged in. "Let's enjoy our shade to the fullest." They lay on the floor and even danced on the tables. The guests were shocked and asked what was going on. The young man told them everything. Hearing the story, the guests were furious with the rich man. "We won't deal with such a greedy man again." And they all left. The rich man regretted everything, but it was too late. Eventually, he moved away from the village. The young man opened the house for everyone in the village. Now, everyone can rest freely under this shade. From then on, the house became a resting place for villagers. And the story of the man who sold the shade was told for generations.